This is the Lagoon 46 successor of Lagoon 450, which was one of my favorite boats. So I have very high expectations. For now, it's looking pretty good, but we'll see once we hit Biscay. A lot of work to get it ready to sail it to Croatia. And the weather is as bad as always. It's end of January. Outside it's gonna be 55 knots, up to 10-meter waves. So we're stuck here for another 5-6 days before maybe we get a small weather window to cross. But then it's gonna be easier, you know, following Portugal, Gibraltar, Mediterranean, just to get out of here. It's really bad. Yeah, this is not the best time to do it, but it's how it is. The boat is here, has to be sailed to Croatia. The boat is almost ready, but the problem is weather on Finisterre. It looks like this. So it's around 45 knots and around 8-meter waves. And 35 knots and 8-meter waves doesn't sound like we want to leave this nice harbor. This boat is Matmut, a legendary boat. It won Golden Globe race a few years ago. Skipper was Jean-Luc Van de Had. He was 73 years at that time and he won. It's a non-stop race around the world, no stops. It took them around 9 months, and this is the boat. It's a Rustler, 36 feet, so it's not a big boat. And they go Southern Ocean. Behind me it's a Vendée Globe pier. There's 8 boats now, and the rest of it's coming in the next days. It's pretty amazing to be here at this time. Here we go, leaving Les Sables alone. It's beginning of February, not the best time. Going out of the channel from Les Sables. Once we pass those 2 lights, green and red, we're gonna see the real conditions out there. Yesterday was a bit rough, but now the waves are down. Perfect time to exit. Here we are, this is Les Sables alone, and there is a long way. Not much waves. Crew is happy. We've been sailing for an hour. We have a little bit of wind from behind. We have a Genoa now to help us a little bit with the speed and stability. We could put a mainsail up, but you know, when it's not much wind and waves, it could be flapping. Time to send the first position. It works via satellite and it goes to my webpage. Very good conditions. Beginning of February. Let's just hope it stays like this.
Beautiful weather, what to do? That's it.
This is the first sunset on our trip. We are super lucky to have all these screens around, so it's not windy here, it's dry. A beautiful view, very lucky. So we started here in Les Sables alone. Now we are here, and this is far until we get to Finisterre, La Coruña. Second day. It's very calm outside. There's only a very long swell. And everybody's sleeping. Yesterday there were people cooking everywhere around, jumping, but now after one day on the sea you don't meet anybody. People up on the watch, others are just sleeping. I'll show you outside. You can see it's a very long swell, hard to see it. It's probably a 3 to 4 meter swell, See, this one's nice, but very hard to see on the camera. We're exactly in the middle of Biscay Bay. This is saying that in 25 hours we had average of 6.3 knots. We did 159 nautical miles. On these long passages there's a good trick, mental trick. If you put your boat here, and now it seems like we're actually getting very close to land. If you open it all the way out, you see actually we're only on a halfway, so it's really bad. But if you do it like this, then it looks like, oh, we hardly moved. What I like to do is zoom enough to see other boats on AAS, just enough, and then put it like this, and now it feels like we're getting to the land very soon. It's a really good mental trick, really good. We're officially over half of the Biscay Bay, and our master chef has decided it's time to make a vegetable soup. So from all the hidden places, vegetables. Now we're gonna release the sheet from Genoa, and this rope is gonna take over, and then we get a good shape of the sail. This is the second reef from the main. Looks very small. It's always good to be a good friend with a master chef, because then you get the leftovers before the bolognese. Bolognese is cooking, sails are up. The only thing we need is more wind. We put the engines off and we fly to Vigo. Our friends came to welcome us, the dolphins. We have this whistle, and this means all hands on board. It's super loud. It's good to have it here, especially because I'm solo on watch. Others are double. And then we have this PLBs. It's a personal locator beacon. I have one in my pocket, so every person, we have two on board that's on the watch, has it in the pocket. If you fall in the water, you pull an antenna out, and via the satellite you send an SOS signal. We also wear life jackets. We have lights on the life jackets. We have this remote VHF here, handheld. It's much better than these BNGs, which are really bad. This is much better to have. And then we have this strobe light, so in case somebody falls in the water, you immediately turn it on and you throw it in the water. It's floating, so to mark the person as soon as possible. And then also we have here these two fenders with attached ropes, and in case somebody falls in the water, especially during the day, I mean, before you put the sails down, turn the boat, just throw this in the water as soon as possible. It's very high visible, and the rope is just to prevent it from dragging too much because of the wind. And downstairs we have more. We have a life raft, we have a handheld VHF, I have my Garmin Reach, Iridium I can send for help. So this is day number 3, early morning. We have quite a lot of wind. Right now we're having 28 knots of wind. Apparent wind angle of 131, so this is pretty good. And we are in front of La Coruña, which means we've crossed the Biscay Bay, and now we're going down to Vigo. And we had amazing sailing, averaging around 8 knots for the last 15 hours. We are under second reef on the main and full jib. Lucky one having a forward cabin, because forward down there it's just jumping too much. So in the end it makes a big difference being up there or here on the floor. It's much more comfortable. And then bathroom is another fun place to go. I have a forward one, and that's where you go and everything is jumping. And you have this nice window. You can sit and watch the waves. We've done 48 hours sailing now. We've done 343 nautical miles, but average speed has been 7 knots. This is really good. And for the last 14 hours, the average speed was 8.2, and that was mostly sailing, which is pretty amazing. This is how it looks the third day, morning, quite short wave, beautiful speed. Knots, 11.4 knots of speed. Okay, that's 30 knots of wind now, 31.7 knots of wind. When you go to Finisterre, there's always more wind. Hopefully it's not gonna go much over 30, because then we'll have to reef more. The VHF from B&G sucks. These small instruments from B&G suck. The big one is good. The big one is very nice. Well, I'm pretty pleased with the performance of this boat for the last half of the day and night. Sailing, the speed is pretty good, it's very comfortable, it's like a good hull shape. So we've crossed the Biscay Bay, and once we turn this, we go here to Vigo. And that's where we're gonna do an engine service. Has to be done after the first 50 hours. Have a little rest, the new cyclone is coming, so we'll have to stay there probably a couple of days. And then hopefully get good conditions to go down to either Cascais or hopefully directly to Gibraltar. That's a couple of big waves. We're having really good speed. We have up to 40 knots of true wind. We have a second reef in the main, full Genoa, but the boat is having a little bit trouble staying on track. It's rotating too much. I don't think it's autopilot, it's more like this backwards mast, small Genoa and small rudders. We're slowly getting close to Finisterre. You can see down there, this is Spain. Finisterre is just 10 miles down there. Cooking some homemade stuff. This is, I don't know the English word, but it's good. It's beans and all kinds of stuff. You cook for a long time. When you sail, you always have to think well in advance. And because tonight we're gonna stop in Vigo, we put these steaks, 2 of them, out so they defrost in advance. Very important. And this is the famous Cape Finisterre. Now we're officially out of Bay of Biscay, and now we go south. It's gonna get warmer and warmer. Now we have crossed Biscay of Bay, turned around Finisterre, and now we go to Vigo, which is here. We have a beautiful sunset. And you can definitely notice that we left Bay of Biscay because there's no swell anymore. There's just big waves, but you can feel that you have more appetite, you feel much better. In Biscay Bay, it just seems like on top of the normal waves, you have a huge swell which goes probably 2 meters up and down. You don't even see it, but you're moving constantly, slowly up, slowly down, plus the waves. And everybody on the boat is feeling much better now. We are now approaching Vigo, and it's totally dark. This is the night vision and binoculars. So we're helping with this to see buoys and other boats. So we arrived to Vigo yesterday night. We're gonna do the first engine service here and wait for the good weather. It's a pretty old town, quite big, a lot of boating tradition, many sailing boats. I kind of like this place. We have loads of grass in the filter of air conditioning, and Les Sables, the water was really dirty, so we have to clean it now. Filters had to be cleaned. The air conditioning, I'm putting it back in, cover like this, and then I'll put these screws in. And this is built really stupidly because you cannot drain. And if you don't drain, everything from the system is gonna go down to the bilge. And there is no, I mean, you could drain it down here, but you cannot catch it. So now I'm draining it from here, from this hose. But because hose is mounted so stupidly, I cannot really pull it off. So I'm just draining drop by drop. And then the question is, once this boat is gonna be in the charter, who's gonna be so careful like me now, draining this? They'll just open, drain those free waters into the bilge, all the salt goes in and nobody cares. And I think Lagoon should build it that it's easy to maintain. You know, you don't want to have salt on all those fittings, it just destroys them. Really bad, really bad. And we already have a problem with the waste tank. So this is the button to empty the waste tank, and this is the meter. And this meter is dead now after 1 week. And this is gonna be probably dead after 1 month. At least that's how it was on Lagoon 50. But Lagoon 50 has an option to manually pump out the black tank. Lagoon 46 doesn't have. So you can check how full the tank is with the lamp, but you cannot empty them. There's no way, once that electric pump is dead, that you can empty it. And on Lagoon 50, 1 died. But we had option to do it manually. Here you don't have. Really, really bad design, Lagoon. Very bad design. Lagoon 42 has the best system because the black tanks are above the sea level and you only gravity empty them. But here the gray tanks are under the sea level, so you have to pump them out using electric pump. And this is how looks the clogged filter. We have 2 fish and loads of seaweed and grass. Really bad. Once the oil is warm, we do the, what's the sound? here in Vigo. It's gonna be bad weather for 1 week. Rain and wind. Hopefully we can go tomorrow. But this is how it looks. This is the weather forecast for Vigo. Rain, then 1 day with sun, and then rain again. Because all the cyclones are coming from the Atlantic, and then it just keeps raining. It's like this. It's winter. Mechanics of Yanmar came. We're doing the 50-hour engine service. We're leaving Vigo now. Our marina didn't have fuel station because they were doing something. So now we go to Marina de Villa, just across there. They have fuel station 24 hours a day, open. The fuel station is on the inside of the marina, and the price is pretty good. It's 1.2 euro per liter, so that's okay. This is a big harbor, Vigo. Around 300,000 people, loads of fishing boats, huge maritime industrial area, huge history. This is the sailing town. Almost out in the ocean from Vigo. We have a fur drift on the main because afternoon we expect quite strong winds and we don't want to bother with this later. This is the sail. Very small now. Behind Vigo in clouds. Looking good. Should be in Gibraltar in 3 to 4 days. We now opened Genoa, full Genoa, and still fur drift on the mainsail. And we're trying to get out of Vigo. So I have to go out. The wind is kind of annoying and we have a super strong current. So basically with engines and sails we're doing 5 knots averaging, super slow. Well, that was a really rough night. Really rough night. 30 knots of wind, huge waves. We still have a huge swell, but no, it's okay. Very uncomfortable, no horizon, rain, thunderstorms crossing. The cyclone actually going across us, the last part of the cyclone. But that's okay. I'm happy that we left because now we have good conditions to Gibraltar. You can wait weeks for good weather or take a little bit of uncomfort in going conditions like this. Probably on camera it doesn't look like, but that was a rough night. But we're doing a good progress. So yesterday in the morning we started from Vigo, which is around 130 miles from here. We started from here, crossed Biscay to Vigo. I've done this part, now going to Gibraltar, but then we have to get all the way around up to here. Still a very long way to go, but Mediterranean should be much, hopefully, much nicer to us than this winter, February, North Atlantic. So it's getting better and better. And we have sun, luckily. The conditions are not fun at all. It would be hard to say that anybody enjoying this, including the boat. We have 40 knots True wind speed coming from front of the boat. A lot of swell from the side. And it's gonna be like this for another 10 or 20 hours. Just banging. Very confused sea. Oh, that's how it is. It's winter, North Atlantic. These are actually quite good conditions for this time of year. There's a big swell coming like this, and the wind is coming from the front, making short and steep waves, so banging in. Not much fun, just waiting for the better days. We're now past Lisbon, almost turn this and then get to Gibraltar. It's a bit rough, but there is always time for a good homemade puzzle. And a papo. After 2 days of crackers, fruit, bananas, this is gonna be really good. We have another beautiful morning. We've been averaging 7.7 knots during the night. We're around 100 nautical miles from Gibraltar, so the bigger picture. So we're using this secondary row for Genoa to help it keep open. Here is a night watch, slowly going to bed. And I think this is actually the second day on this trip that I'm walking on a deck in front without any problems. There is no more huge crossing seas, no more swell. You can feel we're getting close to Mediterranean now. The seas are gonna be calmer, it's gonna be warmer, we're gonna go for the first swim of the year. How was your night watch?
I was 1 hour late. And don't tell anybody.
What's on the menu for today?
I guess some paprika and pancakes if the weather stays like this.
And
maybe pizza.
Ooh. These small PLBs, they're really good stuff. We're having them now on the first trip. Should have them before already, but it probably costs 200 or 300 euros. The battery lasts 7 years. There's no prepayment, so you just distress via the satellite. That's all you need. Just put in a pocket around here, fall in the water, you're gonna get rescued. It's waterproof, it's just an amazing piece of equipment, very small. It's a great morning because our master chef is squeezing oranges and he just put out 2 huge steaks for the arrival to Gibraltar. Life is looking good. It's over 20 degrees on the sun. I changed my winter clothes for my summer shirt. The water temperature is 18 degrees Celsius. This is a salt water shower. You can also switch it to fresh, but now it's just salt. And life is good again. No engines, full sails. And down there, Gibraltar in 7 hours. Finally some good sailing conditions. And this boat is actually sailing pretty well for charter, Catamaran. Because we're doing 7 knots, 7.4, with only 30 knots of real wind. Anyhow, the boat is doing 7 knots. And all the lagoon catamarans are always the best when the wind is from the side. No engines, using wind. That's how it's supposed to be, right? Master chef is making a homemade paprikash. It's a mixture of all kinds of stuff. Our master chef. That's how we've been eating since France, Les Sables, Lagoon. Life is good. Oh, ideš, leto. Gibraltar. And you can see all these small boats, it's all the traffic, the big cargo ships. See loads of them. This is Africa, you can see a few lights. We made it to Gibraltar. We're actually in Spain, in La Linea. It's time for pancakes. Master chef doing pancakes.
He does best.
We are in La Linea, that's near Gibraltar. You can see the rock is up there. We refilled the water, rinsed the boat, and we're heading now towards probably Ibiza or Alicante. We're gonna refuel in Gibraltar because the fuel is much cheaper. And then behind me, this is the big rock. We tried to refuel in Gibraltar, but they have a leak. So you can see there's a boat closing all the bay. So we have to go back to Spain and get more expensive fuel and spend more time. And so we're back in Spain, we refueled. The price here is 1.4 euro, so it's around double the price than Gibraltar. But we have water, fuel, the weather is good, so we're good to go. And it's time for a kind of English breakfast, looks like.
Kind of.
Actually, I would say this is much better than English breakfast.
Healthier.
Much better.
Yeah, Mediterranean is great. You can eat a lot, there's no waves, it's much warmer. It's definitely better than Biscay. Do you know that feeling when after a really good breakfast, you open a fridge and you find 2 steaks ready to be barbecued today afternoon. And outside it's a sunny day and you're in Mediterranean. Down there you can see Africa. Down here you can see Costa del Sol, South Spain. It's mid-February. It feels like summer. Amazing. The water has 18 degrees Celsius. Outside it's like almost for the shorts. It's mid-February. Amazing. We are 40 miles from Gibraltar, but once you zoom in you can still see so many boats around here. Loads of traffic, big cargo ships. You know, those sunsets with steaks and beautiful colors. Our master chef is gonna beat himself again tonight. Today there's no bones, only fillets. That's something special. Seems like this sailing video is more of a cooking video than sailing video. But who cares? I love cooking videos on the boat. I'm having no comments for this video now. Yesterday night we came to Cartagena, South Spain. It's a huge harbor, military harbor, huge shipyard, and there's also a yacht A, you know, the big sailing boat. And we couldn't go to Ibiza because Ibiza is closed because of coronavirus. But this is also a good stop, and now we have around 650 nautical miles to Palermo, Sicily. We refuel and then we'll see how the conditions are. Boat is in great shape and I'm more and more pleased with this Lagoon 46. Here in Cartagena we have a full sunny day, so we managed to rinse the boat, clean the inside, and now we still have time to make a homemade pizza. Our master chef is making a bread right now.
No.
And then it's gonna go into the oven. And I'm wearing a t-shirt and shorts. It's a beautiful day. The water has around 17 degrees Celsius. If there would be a nice beach around, we could swim. It's amazing.
Ubodno, pa. Etiska zvezda. To mi je malo, što veš u krv.
We're getting close to Italy. That's why we have pizza on the menu. Today it's my turn to make a dinner, and it's already ready. We're having this local specialty donuts, because at home we have a carnival now. Dinner is ready. Yay! It's my specialty. We refueled here in Cartagena, and now we're going to Palermo. Leaving the marina in Cartagena, we refueled, the price is good, people are very friendly here, definitely coming back. Very big search and rescue boats, we're well equipped. Down there, yacht A. I think it's a beautiful yacht. Nice place overall, a lot of history, a lot of old walls. Good place to come. This laundry, not mine. And this rig, I've seen it in Gibraltar years ago. It's enormous. 2 huge cranes, amazing. So South Spain, this is the Murcia region. You would think it's flat, but you have these hills all the time, since all the way down you can see hills, hills. Inside it's more flat, but here on the coast there's loads of these interesting small hills. Actually pretty interesting. Up there on the top you can see some ruins from the military, and another one here. If English would see this breakfast, they would stop eating English breakfast and they would eat our breakfast. Just look at this. Perfectly made eggs. It's my turn to make a quick lunch, so I made a donut and I split it in 3 parts, and now we're gonna serve it to our room. Evo večera. No?
Nisi enakomerno razrezal.
Vzem večjega.
Ne bom.
Čakaj, da preverimo dimenzije. Ima več čokolade.
Good? Very calm seas, which are gonna be super calm tomorrow, because tomorrow it's even less wind. So this is where we are. We left Cartagena, which is here. Ibiza is just above us, and Palma de Mallorca, Sardinia, and then finally we'll get to Palermo in Sicily. It is mid-February, which means it's deep winter here. We are 37.5 degrees north, and we have shorts and t-shirts. Sun is very strong already, you can feel. And then on a day like this, you're just walking around the boat, looking what to eat, what to grab, what to snack. So you open a fridge, you see all kinds of good stuff. But then you go on, you open the second fridge, you check the second fridge, then you see too much vegetables, and then we have some Jaffa cakes, peanuts. This is a cookie place. That's where you find all kinds of sweet stuff and cookies. It's pretty empty. And then you do a couple of turns. You know what I'm talking about. It's like being home. And then you snack something, and then you're sorry that you snacked it, and then you snack more. Eventually you'll reach Palermo. You celebrate with a big steak or pizza. Life goes on.
Hoćem jesam gledati, ne ima TripAdvisoru, ali kva, kećem, ti s TripAdvisoru, ne? Ne tromajo zdaj na Hrvaškem. Je avstrijska firma za gostin.
Risotto is ready, and it looks very promising. And salad. Here we have a whistle and a knife attached, so in case something goes really wrong, you just whistle, everybody hears you, and a knife for cutting ropes. You never know when you need it. And this is the best new improvement. This is really worth it. It's not expensive. You just wear it, and it's so easy to call for help via satellite. It's an amazing small device. And I'm gonna use it for hiking, skiing, and all the outdoor adventures. Really good to have. Octopus salad, cheese, tomatoes in tunes, and a special tuna spread. It's looking good. So we are in the middle of Mediterranean right here. The depth is almost 3,000 meters. 3,000 meters, and we stopped because we got some vibrations. So lucky me, I have my mask and a knife. And I'm gonna have a swim to check. This was on the propeller. Luckily we felt it soon enough without doing any damage. It was actually quite easy to put it off.
No boats, no pirates, no nothing.
Any women?
Nothing. Only carbohydrates.
We're still somewhere in the middle, quite close to Africa. We got 16 knots of headwinds, and progression with the engine was just not possible anymore. The boat was just slamming too much, it was too much. So we put sails up and changed our course a little bit towards Sardinia. It's going to be one day of these winds, and here you can see very nicely how the heading and course over ground of the boat are different, and that's because the catamarans don't have a fin keel, so we're basically going sideways a lot. We're sailing under full sails, no engines, but it's upwind, and these catamarans don't really like going upwind, especially in these waves. Main, full Genoa, and boat rocking a lot up and down. The waves are actually not that big, but it's not about the size, it's about, you know, the frequency. And this frequency is just not good for this size of the boat. If they get bigger, we might be better. Okay, we have 7.2 speed over ground. Well, it's rocking a little bit, but our master chef managed to do homemade pasul.
Dopo tomorrow.
We are finally flying. Just woke up and I saw that we are basically averaging more than 8 knots. It just dropped. See, whenever you want to show a good average, it just drops. It's unbelievable. We were just flying at 9 knots all the time. The boat is jumping pretty much. So this is not perfect conditions for the boat regarding sea state. So I'm pretty pleased with the speed of this boat, Lagoon 46. It's a good cruising catamaran. That's a noisy piece of furniture. It's like all day and all night. I guess it's here with intention. So like when you're sleeping on a watch and you get hit by strong waves and the wind, and then it starts and wakes you up. It's actually a natural alarm. I'm sure Lagoon made it with this intention. And there's another one on the other side. It's the same. Otherwise, nothing has fallen apart yet. I mean, nothing has fallen apart. So I am still very happy with this Lagoon 46. Don't blame me for getting fat, blame this guy for cooking so good. How could you resist that? How could you resist that at all? Being here in the middle of the Mediterranean alone with 2 more men on the boat for weeks, how could you resist this food? No way. So Lagoon 46 is actually a successor to Lagoon 450, and it is very close. Although 450 is a fabulous boat, but this is coming close to it. I'm not sure, I don't think it's gonna beat it. It's probably never gonna beat the 450. The old, strong design, fast boat, good looking, it was all there. But the good thing, what they've done is I'm not hitting my head here anymore. Because in the 450, whenever you would go here and open the trash, you would hit in here. Everybody would hit in here. So it's pretty well designed ergonomically wise. And also this area for sitting, it's kind of well designed. It's not too small, too big. It's also good for the bigger guys like we are, and it actually feels like home. This interior and kitchen and all in here is really well designed. It's much better than the old one, the 450. It's much better than Lagoon 42, because Lagoon 42, it's all there. It's a perfect boat, but it's a little bit smaller. So for the bigger guys, you can notice the difference. And thumbs up for this design. And Lagoon 50 has a much bigger saloon. Of course, there's more space, but this one just feels like home. The 46 just feels like, family boat. It's all here, it's more cozy. 9.4. That's a pretty good average. And we're going slightly up the waves. So these conditions are not perfect, but still we're flying. It looks like I was not lucky. Where's the shrimps? It looks like the shrimps ran away, jumped in the water. Oh, there's one. I just got the shrimp. Now it's time to make a reef because we have 26 apparent wind and we're flying almost around 10 knots. And that's a sign that we need to put one reef on the mainsail. But actually it still feels very comfortable. But just safety wise, we don't want to push it too much. We just put one reef on the main. But the boat is still flying. We're still doing around 8.5, 9 knots. You can see we have 25 apparent wind. And now we turn towards Sardinia. Still, it's very rough outside. Sardinia coast. It's actually very nice. Sardinia is famous for nice beaches. This is the coast, sailing just next to it. This is a marina in Tolada. We arrived yesterday at night because the winds outside were getting pretty strong, so it was not possible to go to Palermo anymore. It's nice here. We are here, Porto Tolada. It's South Sardinia. So we zoom out. This is Cagliari, so we are on this tip. Is the most southern point probably, Tolada. The master chef does it again. It's Tolada kebab. It's kebab, you know, but Tolada is because we're in Tolada. Well, finishing
Not good.
has to be improved, but otherwise it's the first time we're doing Tolada kebab, so. But it's not about the look as much, it's about the taste.
Absolutely.
Our master chef made eggs for breakfast. Tons of eggs. This is this thick, and judge for yourself.
Tira debela, šta?
We are waiting for better winds in Sardinia, and we don't have much to do, so we made a bunch of pancakes and Nutella.
We are waiting for better wind. Vsak prispevek se začne.
Pa vedno bolj debeli. 260 kg, but we are waiting for better winds. To je to, dober tek.
Fiat Panda, the best Italian car ever made, with 3 elephants inside, and still going strong.
Driving by the fastest cook in Sardinia. Kako ne veličan še.
Eno je, da ti vklopiš to, drugo je, da še on pomaga.
Imaš karibe, pa jih nimaš, ne?
Nemaš pa fana. Če pridemo mi na California.
Ne, po tej strani sigurno
Na
ne.
California se pride sam s trajektom.
Ne, po mojem...
Ne.
Ja. V bistvu nemaš kaj slikati, kaj kurac slikati.
Italija. Ciao mama, ciao mama. Tomorrow we sail away because the winds are in our favor again. We're gonna have shells on Buzaro, and there's a couple more things coming. Zadišalje.
Kule? Ne?
Pero.
Ni bre, krasko.
Ja, še nas je bilo njih 5-6, veš.
The fish, we call it frogfish. Really good stuff. Here we go again.
And again.
Winds have calmed down, so we're heading now towards Messina and towards Croatia. A beautiful day, calm seas for the next 2 days, and it would be nice to sail, but well, it's how it is. The one downside of these fly bridges, especially this one, is that you have no idea what's going behind, so there's no vision. The 450 was much better because you were more on the side and you could lift one part here, but this one is very, you need the cameras, but on cameras you don't see that well. You have to get used to them. Sailing towards Sicily, and it's time for a quick snack. I'm definitely sure now that this is more like an eating video than sailing video. Cooking, eating video. 70 to 80% and 20% sailing, which is just fine. That's why sailing is. Sailing's supposed to be fun, good food and good winds. Is that correct?
Yes, and some wine.
And it's not just tortellini I can make. I just made these great sandwiches with prosciutto from Italy, from Sardinia. Homemade bread, the home cheese from Sardinia, and prosciutto, local. Perfect. No wind at all. Our captain is playing with the phone again instead of watching for the trees, fishing nets and pirates, as usual. It's not the fire, but it's just sun going through the steam. And Captain Cook is already pissed off because the pasta is gonna be overcooked and I'm filming it, so I'm in big trouble now. I better run out. This is the entrance to Messina Strait, around the corner. Always excited to be here. Our chef is keeping up the high standards.
He's running out of ideas. Slowly.
Entering Leuca, South Italy. Looks really promising, very well protected. There's a beautiful lighthouse up there. Looks like a very nice place. This is the entrance to the marina. We're in Croatia, we have 10 more miles to the marina. We're sailing between these beautiful islands, Kornati Islands, towards Biograd na Moru. It was a long trip. We had to wait 5 days for the conditions just to cross the Biscay, and then it took us 30 days to come here to Croatia. All these beautiful islands, still after such a long route, this is my favorite place. Croatian islands, sailing, culture, water, food. It's all the best here. This is our trip, which says our maximum speed was 16.9, average speed was 6.6 knots, and time sailing is almost 400 hours. This is time moving with the boat. And we've done 2,600 nautical miles. Every good sailing story starts with a good bottle of rum, champagne or wine.
Not one that started with the
Either.
salad.
Julie.
Woohoo! Bravo!